Good morning, class. My name is Mr. Cerda, and today I'll be teaching you guys about nets. A net is a pattern that you can cut out and turn into a shape. For example, this right here is a net of a cube. So when a cube looks like this, you can actually turn this net into one of these cubes. The way you do that, if you have it in a piece of paper, you print it out, you cut it along the black lines, right here, the outline, and then you fold each of these black lines. Once you put them together, you can glue the flaps, and then you'll eventually end up with one of these cubes. So I have a question about this cube, this net. Is this the only way you can make a cube? Like, is this the only net you can make into a cube? A right here, it's a different net. If you notice, one of the sides is off. On B, you have an extra square over here that kind of throws it off. C is even more different than those. So which one of these nets will turn into a cube at the end of the day? Or will they all turn into a cube at the end of the day? The answer here is D. If you were to take each one of these nets and fold them the right way, you would eventually end up with the cube. So the difference between these nets is just that they are shaped differently, but at the end of the day, you will still end up with a cube. There are some nets that'll be different, like these, of course more different, that will not work into a cube, but these right here do. Now, after learning about nets, I want to show you guys different shapes. I'm going to draw some shapes here, and I want you guys to match the shape with the name of the shape. So for example 2, shapes and names. The shape number 1 is the cube, which we just talked about. Shape number 2 is a triangular prism. Shape number 3 is a rectangular prism, which is almost like a cube. It's just in the shape of a rectangle. Number 4, you have this, which is a cylinder. And 5, you have a cone. And then over here, I write out the names. Prism. And so right here, I kind of gave it away. I already named each of the shapes as I was drawing them. But would anybody want to come and match the names with the shapes? I would. Okay, cool. Cube. What's this right here? This one has a triangle shape face, so the only choice we have is triangular prism, so triangular prism. This rectangle, it's a rectangular prism. I mean, of course it's a rectangle, you can see the faces, it's a shape of a rectangle. The cube, we just talked about the cube and how it looks, so we match it with the cube. A rectangular prism goes right there. a cylinder, and a cone. You guys ever been to a party? What do you guys wear on top of the little party hats? Shape of a cone. Easy way to remember, it's a cone. And then the cylinder. Of course, the last one left. Cylinder, imagine like a, I don't know, like a oatmeal box or something like that. You know where the oatmeal comes? They always come in cylinder boxes. Same thing with the rectangular prism. Think of a cereal box. They're all rectangular prisms. Alrighty. So this right here was just matching the names with the shapes. So cube, triangular prism, rectangular prism, cylinder, and cone. Now for our last example, example 3. Example 3, we're going to turn our net, one of our nets, into the actual shape. We're going to actually cut it out and then glue it together and find out what our result is. So for this one right here, I'm going to draw it out so that way it looks bigger. So this is this right here. I just made it bigger. These right here are rectangles. All these right here are rectangles. Rectangle, 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 rectangle. What these are right here, the ones that have dots on them, I call those flaps. So here I'm gonna make a key. So this equals rectangle. Each mark I made, like a line, it's a rectangle, and for each dot, it's a flap. What we do here, this is gonna be on a regular sheet of paper, and all I did was cut it out, and do not cut the flaps out because then it won't work. After you cut it out, you're gonna fold it down the down the lines, on the seams. You can fold it down each of the seams, and then you're gonna put it together, and you want to see what shape you make. I want you guys to take a guess, a wild guess, on what this is gonna make. And of course, like we talked about earlier, you see the faces right here. You see each face. What does that make? Like what shape is each face? And of course, it's a rectangle. So my guess is a rectangular prism. I want you guys to guess before you do it, and then at the end of the day, see if your guess was right. So this is what it ends out to be. You can take a glue stick, and then you can glue the flaps. You take these flaps, you put glue on the flaps, students, you may even color the flaps, the faces. That you can make it colors, color it up, make it your own, customize it, make it cool. And then you bend the flaps with the glue, and you're gonna just glue them where they fit. Pull this down. You can get it. This is gonna go inside. And bam. You get a rectangular prism, or if you see it this way, it's a cereal box. You know, like Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops. So that's your rectangular prism right here. So this net, my guess was a rectangular prism, and this is what I ended up getting, which is a rectangular prism. Now, do you guys have any questions about what we learned today? Anybody questions? No questions? Okay, well now we're gonna move on to our next step, our next assignment. I do have a homework assignment for this, so make sure you pick one up at the end of class and turn it in tomorrow. Let's do tomorrow, and it's gonna be over the same things we did right now. You know, nothing too hard, but please pick it up at the end of class and then turn it in tomorrow. Thanks.